All right, here I have the Ruko Triton. This is it's a lot like the twin control I just picked. This is the 401, even though this key says 501. And I think the difference here is the lock has 6 pins across the top. It has barrel spools with matching counter milling in the plug, just like the twin control I picked. But unlike the twin control, the 401 only has 2 side pins, and the 501 has 5 side pins. So I think the 501 can be used with the same key, like on your external lock for more security, and then the 2-pin one can maybe be used inside to save some money or something like that. So this one has 2 pins on the side, just like in the twin control. They have to be lifted and rotated, and they have vertical serrations that make it so that you can't rotate them under tension. Looking at this key, it looks like the top pins have like a chisel feature, kind of like the D12 or different locks. But I haven't opened it up to look at the key pins yet. I've pulled the plug out, but I haven't fully gutted it. So if we get it open, we'll take a look at that. There is a limiter on there right now that only allows it to be turned 90 degrees to the right, so you can't pick it to the left. You can take that off, reverse it, whatever you want to do. But that's how it's set up right now. To pick it, we'll use this Sparrow's knurled flat bar or whatever they call it. And we'll use this Jimmy Long's deep hook for the top pins. So what we're going to do is we're going to push up on the pins and see if they give any spring whatsoever. If they don't and they're stiff, then we'll push on them. If they give even the slightest spring, like there doesn't seem to be any much spring out of this first one, then we'll push on it. But right, so not really keeping track of how many clicks we get out of each pin. At first, some of these feel a little tapered because barrels sometimes do that. So we want to get them all up just a little bit. But rather than counting, because there's 2 serrations on the plug, 2 sets of counter milling that the barrel has to go into, that'll be 2 clicks and then another click to be set. Rather than counting that stuff, which isn't very useful because you'll notice that you're going to drop pins a lot, or partial drops of pins a lot on this, and so your count's going to get all messed up anyways. You just want to keep just checking pin states in this. So this first one here, it can be difficult to test. Like, it has no springiness right now, but if I lift up on the pick, I can feel that there's springiness right there. Another way I do that sometimes is I'll hold it with my index finger, the tensioner, and I'll just use my thumb to lift up on it and feel that little bit of jiggle there. All right, so the second one here has a lot of spring travel. Third one here doesn't seem to be spring travel. Make sure that I'm actually on the pin. I wasn't, okay. I was probably resting on some warding. Fourth one, fifth one, and my count is off. So when I go back, I have to scoop underneath each pin, which can throw off my count. I can skip some sometimes. So if I start from the back, I can pull and then get onto the pins easily. So that's pin 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 is getting odd. All right, 2 and 1. All right, so 1 is hard to test. Do it like that. Okay, go back to number 2. Actually, I'm going to start from the back again because it's 6, 5, 4, 3 gave me a click. Still doesn't seem to be springy yet. But that's also the one that I wasn't quite on before. Another click, and now we're springy. So I guess I was on it this time. 2 gave me a little click. No springiness. I don't think I'm actually on it. That makes more sense up here like this. But I think that's pin 1. So you see, I'm having a hard time counting my pins, so it'd be crazy if you're trying to count clicks out of your pins on this. Just go find a pin, check its pin state. Go to the next one, check the pin state. Next one. This one seems to be a binder. Nope. Maybe it was and I got a click. doesn't matter. When you check it, if it's got springiness, move on. All right, we'll do this just a couple times, and then we'll move on to checking the sidebar pins. Once we get this, either the top's all set, or we just get enough progress on it. You can always come back to it, which is good practice as well, because not all these locks isolate sidebar first, then top pins, or top pins, then sidebar. So being able to go back and forth between the top and the sidebar is always a good thing to be able to do. And here, I feel like everything on top is feeling springy. So we'll go ahead, and I got this multi-pick number 10. And on these, they got to be lifted and rotated. So in order to rotate them, you got to basically let go of almost all your tension. And then I like to put a lot of tension on, so you can push on them and pull on them. They're going to have a pull, center, or pushed state, right? So I call it front, center, or back. And what you're going to do is, I do a lot of tension, and then I start to lift them. And you can feel them bind and slide up. And if they let go at some point and become springy, that's usually a good indicator that they're in their gate. If it stays stiff all the way at top, and when you go up it's nothing, and then you hit a hard stop, then they're either binding or they're in the wrong rotation. You let it drop, rotate it one more step, lift it, and what you're looking for is you should be able to lift it nothing, and then you got spring for a small amount, and then a hard stop. So there should be a little bit of springiness before you hit the hard stop, and that indicates that you're in the true gate, or you're in the gate. All right, so this back one, I'm going to try rotating. All right, so I rotated it forward. And I'm pretty sure I know what the rotation's on here, so I'm not, it takes a lot more time if you are trying to figure out the rotation. So I'm going to go with what I think I know. I could be wrong though, on the 2 side pins. Of course, if you have 5 side pins, it takes longer, right? But when you get good at it, you can get through them pretty quick. All right, so this first one, lifting. All right, it gets to a point where I can't reach it anymore with the number 10 here, so I might switch picks in a second. The back one, it gets springy right there. I can't really demonstrate it well, but I can feel the springiness down, pushing back down on me. So I have a feeling that back one is probably set. Come back to this front one, and I might have gotten up there. I can't feel for the springiness with this pick. It's not tall enough. So I'm going to see if this one can reach. This is an honest dong sheet that's been ground down, as you have to do with these. And see if this one can reach. Okay, so this one can reach high enough. And indeed, I feel a springiness there. Let's check the back one with this. All right, and that gave me a little click. And now that one is definitely, I feel that much springiness right there. And then a hard stop. And then there's also this free space underneath. Okay, front one, free space underneath, hit it. And okay, so this one doesn't seem to be springy up top. So I have a feeling that either it needs to go a little more. Doesn't seem, well, maybe it is. All right, so I put it up a little more, but it doesn't have that springiness before the hard stop. So I have a feeling this front one has it probably has the wrong rotation, or it is lifted too high. So I let off tension to drop it, and in the process, I believe I dropped some of these top barrels. So we'll go ahead back at these. All right, that second one gave me something. I'm going to start at the back. 6, 5, 4 gave me a little something. 3, 2 gave me a little something. Gave me something more, and it's springy now. 1. I think this is 6. Springy. Maybe it wasn't 6. Let's see. Yeah, 6, 5, 4, 3. Sorry, that's just me falling off the pin. So I think there was just a little bit of drops up top. Go back to the sidebar again here. 1 has fallen down, so we can try a different rotation. Try to pull it forward a little bit. Pull the back one forward. So I'm pretty sure I got the back one figured out. This front one is giving me issues. Give it a lot of tension. I'll try a couple, see if I can rotate it a little there. Switch this dong sheet again to get a little bit more lift. The back one is springy like that, but it doesn't hit a hard stop, so I don't think that's one's actually set yet. Let's see this front one. So another thing is, once you lift the pin up, you can't touch the nub anymore to rotate it. So what I can do is I can grab a thin pick like this and see if I can get up in there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and affect the rotation while it's lifted. You have to let off all your tension pretty much in order to rotate it. And I don't think I'm having success with this particular one. You could go to a more hooked one and see if you can succeed. But usually what I'll do is I'll just drop it back down again and try changing the rotation on it. So I pushed it twice. It's hard to get it to the center, because once you give it enough pressure to click it, usually it goes and flies to the extreme opposite end. All right, so I rotate it a little and try the back one. All right, back one, I pulled forward. I'm not under it. Try to get under it again. Lift the back one. All right, the back one doesn't feel ready to be lifted, so it's got to be the front one. Front one is binding. Lift it up. Might be high enough, I don't know. Check the back one. Back one was binding, and now it's free again. See if I have to lift either of them further with the other pick. Front one. All right, back one clicked, and now it feels like it's set, the back one. Front one does not feel set. It just goes straight to a hard stop. So let's try pushing up a little bit more. I can't imagine it has to go higher than that. If you look at if you were to compare it to the key, you probably could see that none of the lifts go higher than this. So it's got to be the wrong rotation on this, but I just don't think I can rotate it while it's all the way up here. I've never trying to see if I can feel the nub to rotate it, but I don't think I can. Pretty sure I don't feel it. I'm trying some experimentation while I'm at it. It could be that it's too, and I just dropped a bunch of stuff, I think. We'll check the top real quick. Start back 6, 5, 4, 3. All right, 2 definitely dropped. So the pin 2 up top seems to be the culprit that drops a lot. It says 6, 5 gave me a little something. Went back to 6 to double check it. 4, 3, and the culprit 2. Seems okay. 1. One more time. 6, 5, 4, 3. Not sure if I'm even into there. 2 and 1. Okay, I go back to the side. Oh, and this thing keeps falling off. All right, the first side pin. Mess with the rotation. All right, so I pulled it forward 1. Pushing it, pushed it back 2. Pulled it forward 2. Pushed it back, I think 1. Hard to tell. Lifting. Got to click out of the lifting. I'm going to check the back one, see if I can pull it. I think I got it pulled. Can I lift it? And make sure the pick is the right way. All right, the back one is not acting like it's binding, so go back to this front one, lift it a little more. Come on, having a hard time lifting this front one now. Go to the back one. Back one is lightly binding. but I have a feeling the rotation's no good on the front one still. And it's gonna keep giving me issues. Alright, gotta click out of the back one. I think the back one is probably properly set. We'll go check it with this. It feels good on the back. The front, I can barely even reach with this pick, it seems. So it's probably way too high. Maybe. Check these tops, see if it's something to do with the top. 6. Seems a little bit of spring. 5 doesn't seem like anything. Let's make sure I was on it. 6. 5 seems to be no spring. No spring out of 5. All right, and we're open. So 5 was still binding. Woo, that was this little guy put up a decent battle there. So I did have the sides set, and then I felt 6 click a little, and then 5 I noticed wasn't springy, and that was the last binder. I had to go out of the countermilling. But that's open, locked it back up, and we'll take a look at what's inside of this. Wow. Way less pins than the twin control, but way more battle. So to get into this, ooh, it's got like a Schlage style back to it. So we'll push down on that retaining pin there, unscrew it. Take that out. So this is just like the back flag. I think it's usually this way around, but I do it that way to save some space. And that will, you know, move the lock or whatever it is that it's blocking. Maybe it's like a window that doesn't allow to open. And then this is the little piece that allows it only to turn right 90 degrees one direction. So once we got all that, we'll go ahead and grab the key, rotate it. Now, when you push this out, the key is going to hold all the side pins in, so you don't need to worry about those falling out. Gravity is going to hold the key pins in. The follower is going to hold the driver pins in, and the only thing you have to worry about is the sidebar, which is being exposed right there. Make sure that that doesn't fly out with your thumb there. Here we go. Make sure you don't rotate this so far that, you know, your drivers fall into the gaps. We'll put this here. Take the sidebar out first. You can see it's a short little one because it's only got 2 pins in it. And you can see it's got, well, it's got 3 gaps, right? 3 gaps. So I guess you could have a third one in the center. There's no cut for it there. And these have a little bit of milling, a little bit of serration on them. Don't know if you can see it, like a little step down, and that's what catches the serrations on the finger pin, the side pins. So that little serration that's right there, and that catches it and stops it from being able to rotate when it's under any sort of tension. Got 2 little sidebar pins, springs, sorry, and then we'll go ahead and take out some of these key pins. I haven't looked at these yet, so I'd be curious. Yep, so they have that chisel tip. You see that? How it's got a notch in it. I'm not sure what that is all about. So when I put this back together, we'll take a look in a second. Once I get all these out, we'll put one back in the wrong way around. All right, so that's all 6 of the key pins. Sorry, my hand's been in the camera the whole time. So if we take one of these, and you can see how it's like got a slope to the, if you put it in the one way, the right way, it drops down flush. But now if we put it with the longer chisel part forward, oh, it goes down all the way, either way. Let me try it back again. Oh, okay, so it doesn't matter which way this one is. Try this the next one. Chisel tip back, chisel tip forward. Okay, so that one's fine. Surely there's got to be one of them that's directional. Nope. But I think it would allow you to, I don't know, maybe do some mastering or something, or more allowing keys to open multiple doors. I have no idea why they have the 2 direction keys. But the pins have these little fins on the edges that makes them not spin. They can only go in either one of 2 ways. Like you can spin them 180 and that's it. So you can put them in this way, or you can turn it 180 and put it in that way. I'm just trying to see if any of these matter on direction. And it seems like they don't. I have a couple other locks that have these kind of chisel pins in them. Oh, there we go. All right, the first one. All the 5 of them didn't matter. The first one, if you put it in the wrong way, see it sticks out too far. And then if you rotate it now, oops, I'll drop it. Rotate it 180 so the chisel's at the back. And you put in, oh, that's the way I just had it. Chisel at the back. Put the chisel at the front. There's the chisel at the front. And now it goes all the way in. So you got to make sure you get these in the right way. You should test it with the key when you're putting it back together, because otherwise the key might not work. All right, so the side pins are held in with this. Right now, everything's lined up. It looks like this back one might be mastered, actually. We'll take a look at that too. So I'll take the key out, and you can see the chisels on here. Before I deal with that, we'll take that front one. So if you have it in the right way, I guess it can go down there, but if you have it in this way, it probably lands like somewhere like there, and it's too high. All right, so first pin here, you can see it's got these vertical serrations, and that's what stops it from rotating under pressure. And this middle area here, you can see that like maybe 2 of the serrations go down through that, which shows you that this is fat enough to occupy the entire gap in this sidebar. So it has to be, it'll drop down into there like that. If it's rotated incorrectly, it won't be able to drop in. And if it's not lifted, obviously it won't be able to drop in. So that's the first of the 2. Then the second one here, let's see. You can see that looks like it's quite a bit thinner. Actually, this one looks really odd. I'm gonna have to look at it under a magnifier, but it looks like we don't have the 2 serrations going down. It's a lot thinner. What that means is that this one is probably a mastered pin, in that it can drop into this thing, and even if it's rotated 2 of the directions, right? So it could be center and forward, but not back, and it will still drop in. It looks like this one's mastered to me. So it has 2 out of the 3 rotations that it will work with. It's a light mastering. All right, and then these have just springs, whatever. All right, driver pins. Oh, before we get to driver pins, on the barrel, there will be counter milling. There's going to be 2 light counter mills like that. 1, 2. And those light ones will catch the thin lips on the barrel spools. If it were gin spools, like on some of the older locks, it'd be one wide serration that would catch the thick lip of the gin. So, looking finally at the driver pins, these are going to be standard Assa barrels. They are double-ended, so it doesn't matter which way you put these in. It's got a thin, we can zoom in a bit more. It's got a thin lip on the top and bottom. Let me grab this a little bit further. And that's what catches in those serrations. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3. And unlike gins, these don't have to go in a specific direction. They got the spool on both ends. And 6. Some springs. I think the springs are all the same. No, there is some spring differences in here. I should have taken them out one by one. There are 2 that are thicker, and then 3 that are just, 4 that are just like normal. So I don't know what they were on, which ones were thicker, which ones were thinner, but I'll just put them like this. Oh, it's interesting. I didn't think it would have different ones. Nothing special up there. There should be also, to make it easier to take apart, I don't know, they don't have it on here. They have like a screw on the back that you can sometimes screw out, and it'll reveal all these holes up top that the pins can drop out from the back. In any case, that was really long for this lock. I love how they have like these copper pins and copper sidebar instead of the usual brass looking ones. But that is the Ruko Triton 401 by Assa. And I'm looking for the 501 because I'd like to have the 5 sidebar pins. Anyways, thanks. Bye.